Okay, let's blow up or shed outdated not-for-profit mindsets. The funny thing here is I get paid by large for-profit entities to come in and blow up the not-for-profit thinking. Why? Because it's the same people working in for-profit and not-for-profit, you know. Really all we have, the difference is a tax status. Okay, one pays out 40% of everything it makes in taxes, the other doesn't. Okay, so let's take a look at this because there's a lot of confused thinking about this. You wonder why I wear black, you know, and it's like, oh, have some mercy, please. But someone's got to shoot straight and candid, you know. This integrity thing means something, you know. You know, and this is what we know at this point. Okay, how can a not-for-profit hospice not make money? Okay, a hospice really doing the model can have a 14% operational margin just by doing a little bit better in the major areas. I mean, we're not asking for any big stretch here. That people are actually making out checks in that are community support here. This is for a not-for-profit, you know. A for-profit does not get that. So people are actually giving us money on top of that. And a not-for-profit doesn't have to pay out 40% of its profits in taxes. I'm thinking about one hospice that we built. This is a for-profit situation. I've helped start not-for-profits as well as for-profits. So again, at the end of the day, I don't care if you're a for-profit or not-for-profit. If you're taking care of my son or daughter, I want the hospice that has meticulously thought through that experience and put the love and care. I mean, every word, smell, uniform, everything has been constructed to make my son or daughter feel better. That's what I care about. I don't care how large they are, if they're the oldest or largest or whatever. I want the one that loves more, has more. I want one with a compassion up to here and not arrogance, but extreme humility. Okay. So 40%, I just remember making out these huge checks because we were highly, highly profitable. Okay. And, you know, some not-for-profits have an easier time recruiting volunteers on top of that. Now, that's not the true case because we've got for-profits that do 20-some-odd%. We work with virtually all the largest not-for-profits, and they barely get above 6%. People will volunteer to quality at the end of the day. Okay. Shedding outdated not-for-profit mindsets. First of all, that hospices need community support in order to operate. Really? I mean, isn't that self-evident? They don't need community support. It's nice, but don't squander it. Don't lose your self-control where you take all your nuts just because the community's helping you out. And and then you forget, winter's coming because I didn't have the self-control not to do all these things that the huddled masses are doing, or all these other hospices are doing. That's self-control. Okay? That not-for-profits shouldn't make a lot of money. Not-for-profits should make more money. That's the only thing that's going to keep you in the game. That's the only thing that can fund the mission. You know, so we need to make money, and sometimes there's people on boards that have confused ideas about this. And if you're not-for-profit and you're struggling, you need to learn how to manage. Manage. That means the allocation of resources to increase benefit or ROI, return on investment. We have to learn how to manage. No not-for-profit should have any financial problems. And shame on the not-for-profit that goes out of business. Here we got a government funding source. There are people dying. And you're not able to make it work. You know, in a movement where people are doing great. And I mean, because right now, just get some perspective on this. People are doing better in hospice than they have ever done before. And it's just they're getting better at management. They're getting better, the elite at even quality, Okay. That not-for-profits care more about patients and families. Do they really? As far as I can see, it's the same people. And why is it that even in the MBI benchmarking of, I think, was it 730 hospices at this point, at least our for-profit clients visit more. They visit longer and more frequently. I'm not saying that there's a quality connection, but that's an interesting observation. A not-for-profit CEO pointed that out the other day to me. I hadn't looked at it quite like that. Okay, that for-profits have some mystic advantage over not-for-profits. They don't. Inherently, I will say this, they are better managed because they have to be. Otherwise, they wouldn't survive, so usually better managed. That for-profit skimp on care. Again, at least in our world, they're out visiting. That not-for-profits provide a higher quality of care. Again, not necessarily. It's those that, again, the more intention you put into things, the more you put into your people development. Again, that's where your quality is going to be. If your people development is here, your quality is going to be here. If your people development is here, your quality is going to be there. No more, no less. That not-for-profits can't pay their staffs well. Really? Is there like a for-profit rate and a not-for-profit rate? Last I knew, there's the same rate. Again, I would rather have less people that are highly compensated than a bunch of mediocre people. That's part of how to retain or attract and retain people over the long run. Money's not everything, but it's something. Okay? Volunteers prefer to give their time to not-for-profits. We already talked about that. No. We have for-profits over 20-some% now. No problem. And that's one of your links to profitability, in fact. Okay, if we are highly profitable, Medicare is going to cut our rates. Well, guess what? They're going to cut your rates anyway. If we are highly profitable, people won't give. Yes, they will. We've got multiple hospices now with over $100 million in the bank. And people are, and it's just getting bigger. People continue to give to a winner. That not-for-profit boards of directors are more committed than for-profit boards. It's exactly the opposite. Again, I worked with both. I've done just about everything in hospices. In hospice, I should say. One for-profit that I was on the board. I've been on the board of not-for-profits too. But when we had a board meeting, I was living in Australia at the time. Another board member lived in Switzerland. When we had our board meetings, guess where we were? We were on an airplane because you don't miss, because you don't miss, because you don't miss the board meeting, because real business is going to happen. We had to take a test to get 100% on it, to recertify our competence as a board member, and what that meant. We had to know our standards, rather than people that just get on there, well, whatever, and then they go back to their insurance company or whatever. But yet they're in this strategic place, making these strategic decisions. Okay, enough on that. There'll be a workbook. In fact, there already is a workbook, but there's going to be one about revolutionizing the board of directors, especially the not-for-profit board.